So we start where we left off, investigating this secret organization and slowly taking down the heads of the organization. Our party has changed a little bit, so we have Ruby, the Elven Ranger, my fiance, Gary, the Human Shadow Sorcerer, Matt, a Gnome Artificer, Sam, Halfling Bard, Ron, DM, and me, the Human Monk. The first lead that we track down leads us back to my hometown, where it is revealed how my character became a monk. Basically, I was raised as a second son in a noble warrior's family that wasn't really treated that well, so he rebelled by hanging out with the peasantry and doing petty theft. He got caught, imprisoned for years as a child, before being shipped off after praying for anything to save him. This is the reason why he's trying to find religion. We spend time with a childhood friend of mine, and the DM tries to flirt with my character constantly, making my character uncomfortable as he doesn't flirt, and he and Ruby have become close just by spending time together. He has feelings for her, but he just doesn't understand them yet. He's currently 18 and has been around monks for most of his life, and he was in prison since he was 10, so puberty was never really addressed for him. Anyway, we find our way to the head of the monarch of one of the noble families, and we take her out, halting a world war between elves, dwarves, and humans. Matt joins us at this point, being chased by strange shadow dogs. We help him, and he agrees to join us as we track down the head to a huge farming community. Finding her, and through some excellent stealth, we discover that she is being blackmailed, and in exchange for assisting her, we can get leads on the other heads. We find out the location of the three heads. One is the leader of a bank, one a black market dealer, and one is the king of the country. We go to the bank and pick up our new bard. At this point, things are flowing pretty well. Gary has stepped back and I have taken the lead. Being a DM, I allowed everyone in the group to shine, so they chose me. We do a full Ocean's 11 style heist. Using Sam's disguise kit, I am made to look like a noble. Matt follows us in an invisible barrel. Ruby is my secretary. Gary and Sam use magic to hover outside the window invisible until we let them in. Anyway, it goes off flawlessly, and we take the guy out and hide his body in a secret room. Up next, the capital. On our way, our airship is shot down, but some amazing dice rolls allowed me to activate the artifact we stole from the cult and teleport the party out of harm's way to the top of a mountain. We made our way through the mountain where we discover ancient dwarven ruins. Gary was in a bad mood, so he decided to grave rob a scepter. I took an item too, and we had to escape the mountain filled with traps, Indiana Jones style. We found out that the scepter was a magical item. Now, at this point, Gary had all the party gold, and 4 magic items. The rest of us, nothing. Also, the party found out that my character had never done it before. Important for later. We get to a nearby town, and things start to get weird. Everything is very bizarre, like as if everyone was in a dreamlike state, and I'm told that the leader of the town is instantly interested in me. We meet the leader of the town, and I kid you not, she uses permanent charm magic to charm everyone in the party except Ruby. She then proceeds to have her way with my character willingly, as Ron puts it. Ruby gets angry about this because that should never happen in a game, and I never even got a save. I agree with her, but try to stay calm. Gary got angry because he wanted to be the one to sleep with her. Matt breaks out of the charm and saves me by dragging me out a stained glass window with a lasso while flying in a magic barrel. Slowly, we gather the party and confront a creature that has been chasing us. A shadow demon that takes me, the party tank, to 1 HP with 1 hit. Not only that, it's resistant to all damage types and has huge AC. Ruby decides to use her god point to save us. This was accomplished by the tattoo on my arm becoming a dragon and eating the demon, then disappearing. So I lost my tattoo. After the session, the DM tells me that my character is way too strong. I deal the least damage and am just a tank. We break the scepter in the next session and end up meeting a god. Since a level up was approaching, I asked the DM if now that we personally knew a god, could I become a cleric? His answer? No. I need to pray to her more. So back on the mainland, we get a huge puzzle in the DM's world and spend an entire session trying to solve it. Ruby mocks my character and pretends to pray. Understandable, as she didn't believe it was a god. And because of this, I was not allowed to pray for the entire session because I didn't make the save. It was a wisdom save. After a 6-hour session, the DM finally says that this puzzle does have a solution, but we're just too low level to solve it. So we wasted an entire session and got 0 clues on the puzzle. Anyway, our next session arrives and we are in the capital. We track down the black market dealer, but decided to check out the king first. He's out in public, but we can't reach him in any way, shape, or form, and the DM tells us that exactly. So we're all angry and we just go back to fight the black market guy. Before the fight even starts, I am told I take off running using one of my key points for Step of the Wind. Again, no save. Sam says he's casting Autoluke's spear when he sees this to protect the party, but the guy attacks us and he one-shots Gary, Ruby, and Matt with a spell. Sam casts a dome around himself to protect himself now that he said that he was casting it, so he had to go through with it. I had to use a key point just to get back into the fight, and everyone fails the death save. Sam brings Gary back with Healing Word. The guy nearly one-shots me with a spell. On my turn, I hit him a bit, but he doesn't seem phased. Sam leaves his bubble to try to stabilize Ruby, but fails, and gets one-shot the next round. Gary attacks the guy, and does some damage. Ruby rolls a nat 1 and dies, but she is laughing at a joke Sam made when the DM tells her this. He gets angry and looks at Matt and says, "You have a god point, use it." Matt says no, it's not fair, and fails his death save. Gary attacks, Sam fails the death save. Matt dies before I can do anything else, so I attack and kill the guy. The DM then looks at me angrily and says, "Fine, next week you DM, since you guys aren't taking this seriously. And don't even use your god points to stay alive, so obviously we all hate this campaign." All of us say that's not fair to do. What the dice determined, and that we were all enjoying the campaign. Anyway, we all take some time off after this to cool down. During this time, he blames all of us for the campaign failing. But when we tell him the problems that we had, he ends up throwing a tantrum and say that we are attacking him. I start my campaign with Ruby, Sam, and Matt, and it goes amazingly. They start a Goblin Pro Wrestling Federation. Gary and Ron say that they will join at a later date. Eventually, that date soon arrives, but it's a month later, and I still knew nothing about their characters, so I arrive early to talk to them. Gary is really trying, but Ron keeps talking over him and drinking wine. He has also taken starting equipment and gold, but I said that you can only get one and then gold from your background. By the time the others arrive, he has had at least 6 glasses of wine. The session starts, and instantly he refuses to let Gary talk, and won't talk to the other players, and all he wants to do is go to a library, but there isn't one in the town, so he says he leaves the town. I throw a combat encounter at them before the split to try to get them to stay together. I one-shot Ron because of an unlucky crit. They were level 2, but they win the encounter and try to get supplies for the mission that they all accepted. Everyone is shopping happily, except Ron. I ask him what is he buying, and he responds saying he has no money. Now I will accept I was wrong to get angry, but I did tell him on 3 separate occasions that he gets background gold, and he refused to take it. I said, "Okay, you have no money. You can still trade." He literally looked at me and says, "I have no equipment. You said I can't have any." At this point, he had already polished off 2 bottles of wine without us noticing. At this point, I'm fuming, but the session had to end immediately due to a family injury for Sam. By the time I got home, we as a party decided to kick Ron for being drunk and being such a problem. But before I could even tell him, he told me how bad of a person I was personally because I didn't drive out of my way to sit and make a character with him, and immediately incorporate his backstory into the game. He was a lost prince from a completely separate continent, and the session he was in lasted a quarter of the normal length. Anyway, we soon continued the campaign without Gary and Ron, and my players are genuinely enjoying it, and any criticisms given is instantly addressed and resolved maturely. A nice ending. Unfortunately, Ron got worse to the point of no return. At least, OP was able to take the reins and make something more enjoyable. What do you all think about this series?